The silent guessed it was a cold, damp evening when Lila moved into her new apartment. The building was old, its creaky floors and dimly lit hallways exuding an unsettling charm. But the rent was cheap and she couldn't afford to be picky. The first night, she noticed something odd. While unpacking, Lila felt as though someone was watching her. A prickling sensation crawled up her spine, but every time she turned around, the room was empty. She laughed it off, blaming her nerves. Around midnight, she heard soft footsteps above her. She paused, confused. Her apartment was on the top floor. There was no one above her. She brushed it aside, thinking it might be pipes or the building settling. Over the next few nights, the footsteps continued, growing louder, almost deliberate. Sometimes they seemed to come from her own living room, but when she checked, there was no one there. One evening, Lila noticed something chilling. While watching TV, she glanced at the large mirror hanging on her wall. At first, she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her, but there it was, a faint shadow behind her, lingering just out of focus. She whipped around, heart pounding, but the room was empty. Determined to prove it was nothing, Lila began taking photos of the mirror, hoping to catch the shadow on camera. When she reviewed the photos, her blood ran cold. In one, the shadow was no longer faint. It was a figure, a pale, gaunt woman with hollow eyes, standing right behind her, staring into the mirror. The next day, Lila called her landlord. She asked if anyone had ever complained about strange occurrences in the apartment. The landlord hesitated, then admitted the truth: a woman had lived there years ago. She was a recluse, rarely seen by anyone, and when her body was finally discovered, she'd been dead for weeks. Desperate, Lila packed her bags that night, deciding to leave the apartment for good. As she stuffed her suitcase, she felt a cold breeze sweep through the room, though no windows were open. Then, the lights flickered. In the sudden darkness, she heard a soft, raspy whisper, "Why are you leaving? I thought you liked it here." The lights came back on, and the figure was standing in the corner, her hollow eyes locked onto Lila. She didn't scream. She couldn't. Her voice was frozen in terror. When Lila's friends came to check on her the next day, the apartment was empty, her belongings untouched. The only thing they found was her phone, still on the floor. On the screen was an open photo gallery. Every picture showed the pale woman, grinning wider with each shot. And in the final photo, she wasn't in the mirror anymore. She was standing right behind Lila. Did that send a chill down your spine?